Hey Jamie, it's Heather. I thought I'd take a minute to respond to your discussion board because I really enjoyed reading it. I really like, how you're talking about just psychological and Christian values, right? So the main prompt was to kind of ask, kind of our feelings about the statement, because ultimately the beginning of counseling was, Freud and Jung and everybody who agreed, disagreed, kind of, formed their own theories. Everybody I talk to, I don't know about you, everybody I talk to is pretty eclectic, when it comes to approaches. I feel like I use CBT, but I also use a lot of solution focus depending on if the person's in crisis or not. I feel like they really go together. I like kind of your last paragraph talks about, in short, I cannot entirely agree with those who claim that Christianity and psychology do not mix. I would agree with you, like psychologists, psychotherapy, like you said in your last sentence, like Christian psychotherapists aim to comprehend how one's relationship with God influences these dynamic structures and vice versa. Okay, so I think they can both influence each other. I think, kind of what he was saying is behaviorism is changing behavior. Psychoanalytic, of course, talks about the unconscious. You've got all these starting psychological theories, but faith can really go along with it. Think about how much scripture talks about our thoughts, talks about, just dynamics in families, and of course, all the lovely God-given emotions that we all go through. Scripture is really telling us, kind of what to do. Combine that with, cognitive psychology and, behavioral psychology. And of course, now we've got the EMDR, the DBT, all the new theories that are coming out. I do think it's important to be knowledgeable about them, but like we were talking about in class tonight, I think it's important to just integrate your faith and meet people where they're at too. Because ultimately what's important is meeting them where they're at, not pushing. I always use the phrase, like, I'm not going to push fire and brimstone at you. I'm not going to sit there, and judge you or look down on you. I'm going to meet you where you're at and what struggle you're going through. I like all the diagrams that were given in class of, like, okay, stage 1, 2, 3, the different ways that people, really just keep moving forward. It reminds me of the Footprints poem. It's really old school, of, Jesus walks beside us, Jesus carries us. I've heard the joke that sometimes Jesus drags us, where he wants us to go. I think it's just important to meet people where they're at. I do think that you can combine the two. I do think, especially given where somebody's at with their walk with God, if you were using Nouthetic and you were only using Christian, kind of things, I think a lot of times it might come across as judgmental, or it might come across as very just like, okay, this is how it is, versus kind of just, combining the two. So those are my thoughts. I thought you did really well. I really like your writing, and I really like how you put everything. I hope you're having a great week. I'll see you in class. Thanks.